Hi, I'm Steve Madden with Howdini.com, and today I'm going to show you how to fix a flat on a bicycle. First thing you've got to do is you got to take the wheel off, and that's pretty easy. If you have a bike like this one with quick release wheels, first thing you do is open the brake to make sure that the wheel will come off more easily. Then you reach down and open the quick release lever. Then give the whole skewer a couple of twists so that there's plenty of room for it to come off the dropout. You lift it up and it comes right off. Okay, so here's the flat wheel. First thing you want to do is give it a visual inspection. Okay? Look over the sidewalls and the tread to make sure that there's not a big hole in it. Because if you got a hole in it, you've got a slightly more complicated problem than just a flat. Open up the valve stem and press it down to make sure that all the air is out of the tire. Then you reach for these two tire levers here. A real pro can change a flat with just one, but I find it's easier to do it with two. The tire has a thing on it called a bead. It's a piece of wire that's embedded in the edge of the tire, and it snaps into the edge of the rim of the wheel, and that's what holds the tire on. So what you do is you take one lever, which has a little bit of a hook on it, see? And you place it down inside between the rim and the bead. You hook it under the bead and lift up. Pull it off, and this is how we're going to start pulling it off the tire to get at the inner tube. Then you reach in a little bit down the line with the other lever. You hook that over too. Then run the lever down like that so that the bead is disengaged from, a third to a half of the wheel. This way it should be pretty easy to pull it off. You stick your finger right up there and run it along, and you separate the bead from the rest of the rim. Now the next thing you need to do, you need to take the whole inner tube out. So press up like this, on the valve stem, there you go. Pull it back a little bit and just pull the inner tube out. Push the valve stem up and bingo, the whole thing's out. Take a brand new inner tube out that you've got in your repair kit. Shake it out so that it's open like this. Then go back to the hole here in the rim where the valve stem goes through. Place that in and work your way around placing the inner tube back in. And you go back to the valve stem and you start working your way around to snap this bead back in. Coming back up to the valve stem now. And as you go, again, visually inspect it to make sure that it's working okay. This is going well. Now you're at the point where the bead is stretched. It's going to be hard to get in there. On inner tubes that go up to very high pressures, you'll need to use the tire lever again to lift it back, the bead back up and over the rim. Okay, so now you take another look at it. So you pull the valve stem, make sure that it's out far enough, open it up, and go to your pump. Great piece of equipment. I strongly recommend that you get it. Tire pressure suggested for each tire is listed right on the sidewall here. This is suggested to go up to 100 psi, so that's what I'm going to do. Take the valve stem here, you take this part of the pump, you place it over the valve stem, you'll hear it click, lock it, then I like to use gravity to make sure that it stays in place, and I start pumping. This has a dial that shows me how high up it'll go. So I'm going to pump. I'm going to get this up to 100. Okay, so now we're at the proper inflation and we're ready to put the wheel back on the bike. Again, this is real simple. Just take the bike. This is the quick release. You want to make sure that this is on the left-hand side of the bike so that it's symmetrical with the rear. You bring the bike over, put the dropouts over the skewer. Bingo. Drop it down like that. Then you need to tighten this. So you hold the quick release and turn the opposite side of the skewer a few turns just till you feel a little bit of pressure there. And then close the quick release. You should feel a fair amount of resistance here when you're closing it. That means it's on tightly. Now it's time to close the brake. So you just push the lever down. Again, we're just reversing the process that we used to take it off. And give it a spin. Everything seems to be working well. Close the brake just to check it. Spin it again to make sure that the brake is seated properly. Okay, so that's how you fix a flat on the front wheel. What do you do if it's on the rear wheel? Well, changing the flat and the tire and all, that's pretty much the same thing. But you'll notice that the assembly of the rear wheel is a little bit different because that's where the cassette is with all the gears on it. Nothing to be afraid of. It's pretty simple to fix. Let me show you how to do it. Same deal. You want to open the brake, then reach for the quick release, hold both sides of the skewer, open the quick release, give it a few turns. Then in order to get the wheel off, you want to make sure that the gearing is in the smallest gear, which is the gear closest to the derailleur and the dropouts, and that on the front, it's on the smallest chainring. You pull the rear derailleur back gently so that there's clearance, and then you just lift the bike up, and the wheel comes right off. Fix the flat, then it's time to put it back on. What do? You just reverse the process. Getting flats is just part of riding a bike, but they're pretty simple to fix. Once you do it a few times, you'll see it's no big deal. I'm Steve Madden with Howdini.com.